Okay, so remember the other day, this was the 12th, so 2 days ago, he's just tweeting about Epstein over and over again, totally not looking sus. He says, "What's going on with my boys and my gals? They're all going after Pam Bondi, who is doing a fantastic job. We're on one team, MAGA. It's MEGA. We're on one team, it's MEGA only. And don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration." Perfect? The talk of the world and selfish people are trying to hurt it. All over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. People are trying to cope that like he's secretly revealing that Epstein's still alive. No, he's saying that nobody ever stops talking about him. That's obviously what he's saying. Selfish. You're just selfish if you demand answers for them promising to release the files and then now claiming there's nothing there. He says, "Let's not waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein, somebody that nobody cares about. Literally everybody in your administration, all the people you appointed, Bongino, Kash Patel, all the MAGA people have been talking about Epstein for years, and the Alex Joneses, and then now he says, nobody cares about it. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about the Mossad-connected pedophile that Trump was best close friends with for 10 years. Nobody cares. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Thanks for the memo, Trump." He's like, "Hey, memo, America, stop talking about Epstein. Okay, thanks. Thanks for your attention to this matter. Memo closed." And then now he follows up with another tweet about Epstein, now claiming it's a Democrat conspiracy and you're a leftist and you have Trump derangement syndrome if you're talking about Epstein. Oh, wait, this is the same one. Just a different section of it. Oh, yeah, he says, why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, Hillary, Comey, Brennan? So he's trying to rope this in with Russiagate and act like this is some conspiracy against him. Hello? Epstein was arrested when you were president. He either escaped or died or was killed or whatever happened under your watch. It was your FBI and intelligence services that should have done the investigation into Epstein and showed what was really behind it. You don't get to blame this on the Democrats now. Alex Jones is trying this too. He says they created the Epstein files. See, Epstein files aren't even a thing. It's just a Democrat anti-Trump witch hunt conspiracy now. And he says, why didn't these radical left lunatics release the Epstein files? Well, if they doctored them and manufactured and fabricated them, why didn't they release them? If they were going to fabricate and fake this investigation, why did they not come out with it and implicate Trump and your people? Okay. And maybe they didn't release anything because they're also implicated as well, which we know they are, especially the Clintons. So come on. He says, if there was anything in there that could have hurt the MAGA movement, why didn't they use it? So he's claiming that they fabricated it and they created the Epstein files, but then he's saying, if there's anything in there, why didn't they use it? You can't have both. And why didn't they use it? Because they're implicated too. Both sides are blackmailed. How is he asking such stupid questions? Even Elon Musk says Trump said Epstein half a dozen times while telling everyone to stop talking about Epstein. Just release the files as promised. Apparently his approval rating is going down and it's causing a big stir. His propagandists are scurrying around trying to suppress this and shut it down. He's asking stupid questions because they work on his stupid base. Well, I am seeing all of his surrogates regurgitate all of these talking points, like Alex Jones, who now says that the Democrats have doctored the Epstein list. Hey, when Epstein got arrested and then died under Trump's first term, where was the investigation to show that Trump had nothing to do with it and it was all the Democrats? Why didn't that come out, Alex? And Alex is still sweeping for Zion Dawn till the end.
Of false documents As you know, I just call balls and strikes.
Oh, yeah, that's what I do. That's how you know you're about to be sold some bullshit. As you know, I'm always just calling it like it is. I'm not a total Trump cheerleader and sycophant. An apologist.
As you know, I just call balls and strikes. And after years of saying they would release the Epstein file or list, suddenly they're not going to, and we're told it doesn't exist. But then Trump comes out last night and says, well, it does exist, but the Democrats had control of it, manipulated it, which is actually true. They've had control, but they would destroy anything they didn't want in there, leave what they wanted in there, that their investigators could plant. So people say, well, then whose side are you on? This is a giant fiasco. I'm trying to call balls and strikes. I'm trying to look at every angle of this and understand what's happening, understand why the Trump administration.
Oh, I'm just looking at every angle. He's like shoveling you the bullshit, QAnon cope, and sweeping for Trump now, not exposing anything and covering up for the Epstein blackmail ring that he's a part of. And then I'm just calling balls and strikes. I'm just telling it like it is. I'm just covering every angle. I'll check.
180 the last few months, and particularly last week, and did this, and then blames loyal supporters that support the overall agenda as being traitorous for doing this. Now, we all know what triggered this. It was Elon 2 months ago saying, look, Trump's in the list, and that big breakup there, and then Trump wants it closed. He wants it shut down, which looks extremely, extremely incriminating. But from all of my deep research, I never saw Trump involved in any illegal activity with Jeffrey Epstein. So,
I've never seen any evidence that there was any illegal activity with Trump. You think that if it were the Clintons in the situation of Trump, where Epstein said they were close, Epstein said Trump was his closest friend for 10 years. Maria Farmer, the first victim of Epstein to go to the FBI that we know of, implicated and named Trump, Dershowitz, and Epstein, and Maxwell. Trump is the biggest Israel pawn and slave, and you're not going to connect those dots and say, hey, maybe he's blackmailed? I got an old clip of Jones where he says, we know Israel's the king of blackmail, but they don't have Trump blackmailed, though. That's why he's calling for Netanyahu's corruption case to be dropped, which you also swept for when it first happened. There's a globalist coup against Netanyahu. You did the same thing. And bombing Iran for Israel. And all of it. Like, that's what's so sus about Nick, too, is Alex Jones has been like the career Zionist apologist. And then he's giving such a boost to Fuentes. Expose the Enemy is here. He says, deep research. The only thing deep is Jones' head up Trump's ass. Exactly. Oh, I don't see any. I don't see anything linking Trump to Epstein. Trump blackmailed by Israel? Why would anybody say that? I can't see anything. Kidding me?
But from all of my deep research, I never saw Trump involved in any illegal activity with Jeffrey Epstein. So we are simply here.
Epstein invested $40 million in Palantir that Trump is now bringing into our government, even more so.
Tracking this case, not choosing a side, not wanting to make things be what we want them to be, but simply looking at the facts.
Oh, you just want Trump to be involved. It's a you problem. Look at this, by the way, too. Oh, where is it? Okay, we'll back it up, actually.
But I dropped the ball. I didn't even think about the fact. I'm like, oh, yeah, if they've had the list and they've had the files for years, the Democrats would take stuff out, destroy it. Well, that's obvious. They would leave in and twist and put in what they wanted. They have a long history of false documents, reports, Crossfire Hurricane, the list goes on.
Dude, this is such a sweep.
So we've got to investigate this. We've got to keep open minds about this on all angles. But this is the big story. And this has put the Trump administration into a mega massive crisis.
Thank you. Expose the Enemy says Peter Thiel and Epstein both massively invested in Carbine with Ehud Barak, the former prime minister of Israel. Right. Thank you.
And Trump at press conferences, the rest of us saying, don't ask questions, triggers the ultimate Streisand effect, and it's insane. So I don't know where in the world they're coming up with that plan. We'll continue to track this in live time. We'll cover the good Trump's doing. We'll cover the bad he's doing. To give Trump our ongoing advice.
We'll cover all the good and focus on the good and sweep for the bad and tell you not to worry about the bad and that the Democrats corrupted the bad and Trump can do no wrong and he's only got bad people around him. And come on.
So I'm going to post a video later, do a live show today at 4 p.m. Central, breaking down what I think Trump needs to do to get things back on track. And that's release everything. That's why Steve Bannon wants it released.
Oh, Steve Bannon wants it released. I mean, he's in the Epstein files too, probably. And he's got like 20 hours of of a video interview with Epstein and hasn't released any of it. But yeah, he's calling for it all to be released. Like, come on.
When I interviewed Epstein, he knew him. Nothing to hide.
Nothing to hide, but he's been hiding all the footage.
I got Alan Dershowitz saying, release it all. Doesn't incriminate me. Okay, well, then release the whole thing. This is not going away.
Yeah, Dershowitz also saying that they're covering up the big names that are on there. Big names covering up the big names that are on there.
It's only blown up 10 times bigger. It's out of control. And this was so obvious a week ago. People said, oh, you're being a traitor.
Yeah, and it's easy for Dershowitz to call for it to be released. No, when he knows that it's going to be buried and it's not coming out.
It's going to be a big issue. No. I'm seasoned. I'm informed. I'm involved. I know what's going on.
Oh, I know. Trust me, guys. I know. I'm just calling balls and strikes.
It's insane.
There is no Epstein anymore. The Democrats corrupted it, so go back to sleep.
Infowars.com. Real Life Shows on X.
Trump has nothing to do with the Epstein network. He never knew him. They were not close friends for 10 years. Trump is definitely not blackmailed. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, he is not blackmailed by Israel, okay?
What Israel's doing. We know that the king's of blackmail. We know Israel's the king of blackmail.
Sure, Donald Trump is connected to Zionists everywhere he looks, and he completely is just glazing and running cover for Israel at every move, and he seems totally blackmailed by Israel, but in Israel's the king's of blackmail, but just he's not blackmailed by Israel, though.
What Israel's doing. We know that the king's of blackmail.
This was his interview like 20 years ago with Michael Collins Piper.
What Israel's doing. We know that the king's of blackmail. We know Israel's the king of blackmail. We know they blackmail Congress and the president all the time. And right now I see their fingerprints all over this with the media and the FBI and all these people to bring pressure on them to push them into doing this. What Israel.
And what he was talking about was war with Iran. That's dude, if I have the full clip, because this is just a short little thing I did. The full clip, he was talking about them trying to pressure Congress to do a war with Iran. They're blackmailing Congress to get them to go to war with Iran. Trump does what they want with Iran, and then he's going to say he's not blackmailed and he has nothing to do with it. Amazing.
And all these people to bring pressure on them to push them into doing this. What Israel's doing. We know that the king's of blackmail. We know Israel's the king of blackmail.
Wow. All right, that's right. Let's do this next Jones running cover. He's just doing video after video, sweeping for Trump and echoing the talking point that it's the Democrats and all these different things.
That's what Trump said yesterday. I would give Trump an F in the last month on his handling of the Epstein case. Everything they've done has created a giant Streisand effect. That said, though, he made a point in a Truth Social post yesterday that the Epstein file has been controlled by the Democrats, and only what they want to be known is going to be in the file, just like Russiagate and all the other hoaxes. I had always pointed out that they could delete anything they didn't want to be seen, but what about adding things that they wanted to be seen? FBI reports, not any real evidence, but things that spin it. And that's what Trump said yesterday.
Okay, guys, if the Democrats meddled and tampered with the documents, we got the documents, then why didn't they release them then? Why didn't they go, look at these documents we got? Epstein and Trump, all the Republicans blackmailed. And they removed all the Democrats one. If they did that, then why didn't they do it? Come on.
So I'm not in the business of being an apologist for Trump.
Yes, you are. That is your business. Your whole business for the last 10 years has been an apologist for Trump. Yeah, I said that, John. The first 4 years of Trump's presidency, Trump was president when he was arrested, and they should have been doing investigations, and he was allowed to die or suicide or escape or whatever happened. That was all under his watch. If there weren't a bunch of Zionist cabal people all surrounding Trump in there, then why would he not release it then? If it was just the Clintons and the leftists, like Jones tried to claim when Epstein was arrested, he says it's the Chi-Coms and the Clintons and the globalists that are using this to blackmail us. This is so funny. I'm just calling balls and strikes. I'm not an apologist for Trump. I give it an F, but he had no choice. He had to. And then the cope last week was, we played the clips. The cope last week for Trump was saying that he can't release it because it'll bring down the economy. Or he was saying he's not releasing it, but he's keeping it to himself. So he has the blackmail and he has leverage over the deep state now because he's keeping the info. That was the first cope. And now he's moved on to the new talking point.
Not any real evidence, but things that spin it. And that's what Trump said yesterday. So I'm not in the business of being an apologist for Trump. I've been a major critic.
Getting mad and stomping your feet about bombing Syria, but then getting right back into the fold and shilling everything else he does, you are not a big critic. I just saw him with Laura Loomer the other day, and he's like, I'm loyal to Trump. I'm loyal. You're loyal. I'm loyal. Like, you're a full-time cheerleader, dude. Come on. You give a facade of criticizing him in this limited hangout, controlled opposition way.
But this has to be investigated. This has to be looked at very, very deeply. I did a big live stream.
Good. The Zionists will get right to it. They'll get right into investigating themselves some more. The Zionists who are covering up the scandal are going to investigate the cover-up and get to the bottom of it in no time, I'm sure, Jones.
Earlier today, that is very, very important. We're going to be going over more. And I want to respond to how Trump has fumbled this, but also want to respond to how I think he should handle it, all coming up here today. This is a big deal. As Bannon said, we could lose 40 seats in the House with this fiasco if this continues, because unlike the Democrats, we have morals and we don't become complicit in cover-ups. But is there a cover-up? What's happening? We're going to figure it all out together as we wargame every single angle of it. Be sure to follow me on the next Alex Jones.
All right, now check this out. This is a treat. Flashback. The last time I talked to Alex Jones, when I called in 2019, 6 years ago, I called Jones a traitor to his face and called out Trump as a Zionist puppet back then. And he says, I barely think about Israel. Exactly.
Go ahead and go next to California and...
Okay.
Okay, let's go ahead and go next to California and Adam. Adam, thanks for calling and thanks for holding. You're on the air.
Alex, this is Adam with NoMoreNews.org. I've been one of your biggest fans for 10 years, and perfect topic today to talk about treason in China, because ever since the rise of Trump, I really studied it deep and realized that all the accusations and rumors about you being a Zionist apologist, propagandist are all right, and Trump is completely a Zionist agent, owned by Adelson, AIPAC, ZOA, bailed out by the Rothschilds in the early 90s for billions of dollars with Wilbur Ross, who's now our Commerce Secretary. He got the top Zionist award in 1983 from the JNF, the Jewish National Fund, founded by Theodore Herzl. He's totally controlled by net.
And since then, since 2019, how many more Jewish awards has he got? Torah Crown, Prince of Peace, you name it. Top ZOA Theodore Herzl Award. And now he's bombing Iran for Israel, and he's running cover for Netanyahu's corruption scandal. He's covering up the Epstein files. Talk about vindication.
Netanyahu and Kushner. Trump donates to Kushner, who is Chabad. He donates to Chabad. They consider Christianity idolatry. That's who Trump supports. And you blaming everything on China, deflecting from who really is controlling and conquered this country is treason. George Washington would accuse you of being a traitor.
He was just talking, but the reason I brought up the George Washington thing is because he was just talking about George Washington and traitors before he went to my call.
And you should be ashamed of yourself for covering up for who really controls.
Okay,
Trump.
can I talk now, Adam?
That's how it's done, guys.
I barely think about Israel.
Well, maybe that's the problem. You're just obsessed with Israel. Every time you slip on a banana peel, you're just drinking Funyuns in your mom's basement. He also said, you're just reading Nazi books. That's what he told me on this call. The rest of it.
And I've seen the mental illness.
You're just mentally ill. You're just mentally ill. Everything I said was true, and it only aged gracefully with even more vindication. But you're just mentally ill.
I barely think about Israel.
Israel's not a big deal. Why is everybody obsessed with Israel? Why does everybody keep talking about Israel?
Mental illness, people out there that say that I work for Israel or I get talking points from Israel. Israel is, again, a diverse group of people, different parties, just like the U.S., just like Russia.
Yeah, and you won't criticize the Likudnik, Netanyahu factions that are tied in with Trump. They're a diverse group of people. They're not a monolith. Like, what does that have to do with what I was saying?
I've been accused of working for Putin. I've been accused of working for the Vatican, Israel. I'm an American. I'm a Texan.
Yeah, you're a Zio Putin shill. Exactly. I'm an American.
Vatican, Israel. I'm an American. I'm a Texan that believes in the Bill of Rights and Constitution. I'm trying to create a big tent to bring everybody around Americana and stop all the racial and cultural...
We're just trying to have a big tent, all the Jews and all the Zionists and all the Latinos. As long as they believe in Christ, we're just all going to get together. worship the Messiah together and have a big tent. And we're not going to criticize Israel. I know. What does any of this have to do with Donald Trump being a Zionist pawn? It's like he proved me right in his response.
Vision that the left is using, and I've seen the extreme left, like the four horsemen, Talib and...
Oh, if you criticize Israel, if you point out how much of a Zionist pawn Trump is, then you're just with the left. You're with the squad. What do you want, Kamala? That'll be the response.
AOC and, all those folks, Peanut Head from Somalia, whatever her name is.
All right, that's just the 2-minute version. You can find... I'll try to post the whole thing, maybe. Oh, by the way, Conspiracy Truther. He's one of our guys, right? He's got a big Instagram. He posted this, and it's got 9,000 likes on Instagram and 500,000 views, he said. How's that for a dunking on Jones? How did that age?
Okay, let's go ahead.
I have to show that one to Owen on Thursday. Get his thoughts on how that one panned out. Maxwell apparently is claiming that if she gets out... I'm seeing reported as well that Trump had talks about giving Ghislaine a pardon. Well, if there's no blackmail ring, what's she even doing in jail? She's claiming that she'll squeal too? She'll speak?
No, he didn't. I don't believe he did.
She doesn't believe Epstein killed himself? That's what she's saying, I think.
No, he didn't. I don't believe he did. I believe that he was murdered. Well, I'm shocked.
Murdered.
No, I wondered how it had happened.
Epstein's brother was just on, I think, Piers Morgan saying he thinks Trump killed Epstein to silence him. Interesting that Epstein's lawyer was David Schoen, and that was also Trump's lawyer, and he's on the board of the Zionist Organization of America, David Schoen. That's pretty interesting.
Because as far as I was concerned, he was going to... I was sure he was going to appeal, and I was sure that he was covered under the non-prosecution agreement.
Yeah.
But I wasn't in the indictment.
The GOP blocked her from testifying, says the Drudge Report. I believe that. I believe they stopped her from testifying. Of course, she probably doesn't want to be in jail. She's probably willing to throw some people under the rug to get out. She's probably willing to talk.
So I wasn't mentioned. I wasn't even one of the co-conspirators. I believe that he was murdered.
She has no shame, she has no heart, she has no conscience.
For Virginia Giuffre and survivors like her, there is no disputing the facts. As the court found, Ghislaine Maxwell procured underage girls for Jeffrey Epstein. She groomed them, sexually abused and trafficked them. In many ways, some say, she was even worse than the despicable Epstein.
I don't mean to sound sexist in any way, shape, or form, but I expected it from a man, but I didn't expect it from a woman. And, yeah, I think that's...
She died a few months ago, right? Committed suicide, supposedly?
What do you make of Ghislaine Maxwell's decision to speak from jail like this?
It wasn't a surprise. It wasn't a surprise because it gives her still that feeling that she's in control, even behind bars. And I think she's doing it for attention.
Randy Kogan is a psychologist based in Florida's Palm Beach.
Okay, slow down so I can understand. Tell me what happened.
For years now, she's been treating women who, as girls, were abused by Epstein and Maxwell. Is she a monster?
I think in many ways she is. What Ghislaine did, she hunted, she preyed on these girls and procured them for sexual exploitation and sex trafficking. That's a monster.
But from behind bars...
Hasn't there been claims that they set up Trump and his wife? Not Ivanka.
Maxwell is determined to present a selfless side, as she discusses
Melania
with brother Kevin.
If you, when you win your appeal and get out of prison, do you think you'll be accepted again by the people who were once your friends?
Well, I can't know what my friends will do or won't do. I mean, my focus won't be on that. I will always turn to what I've now decided that will form the rest of my life, which is helping other people who are or have been incarcerated.
I just would like to thank you so much. That's such an honor.
wait.
It was not that long ago, in an attempt to distance herself from Epstein, her great passion was to save the planet's oceans.
The deep sea and the wild animals that live there.
Now it's other inmates and, of course, herself, with yet another spin on her relationship with former boyfriend Epstein.
When you look back, and what do you think your biggest mistake was?
I honestly wish I'd never met her, because I didn't know that he was so awful. I mean, obviously now, looking back with hindsight, of course.
Do you consider yourself a victim of Jeffrey?
Well, I don't love the use of the word victim. But clearly, the fact that I worked for him and that I spent time with him and knew him has devastated my life and hurt many people that I love and hold dear that are around me.
Do you believe that?
I don't. I believe that Jeffrey Epstein was an opportunity to her, and I believe that she was an opportunity to Jeffrey Epstein. Without Jeffrey, I don't believe that Ghislaine could have maintained the lifestyle that her father gave her for most of her life.
Well, he paid her $30 million.
That's exactly right. And he got plenty in return.
If Ghislaine is a victim of anyone, according to Randy Cogan, it is most likely her domineering father, the disgraced media baron, Robert Maxwell. He fleeced hundreds of millions of dollars from his employees' pension funds before his body was found floating in the Atlantic Ocean, having apparently fallen overboard from his yacht, the Lady Ghislaine.
So the Jewish super spy, Mossad super spy, robbed all of the pensions from all his employees.
The official cause of his mysterious death in 1991 was heart attack and accidental drowning. But in echoes of her response to Epstein's suicide, Ghislaine believes in something more sinister, as she revealed in this interview in 1992.
What do you feel? What happened to him? You'll never know, so you'll never be 100% sure of exactly what took place. The only thing I'm sure of is that he did not commit suicide.
I feel that Robert and Jeffrey have very similar qualities. And I feel that Ghislaine spent most of her life trying to please her father. And her father groomed her to be this socialite, to learn how to read people and manipulate and exploit people.
People who spent time with Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein when they were together say that Ghislaine was deeply in love with Jeffrey Epstein, that she would do anything for him.
All right, so we got Ghislaine Maxwell drama. Here's author Michael Wolff. I think he's the one that released the audio of Epstein saying he was Trump's closest friend for 10 years. Now he's repeating his claim now that Epstein showed him that he had photos of Trump with topless girls by the pool.
And I've said before that Epstein used to bring out this set of pictures. There were about a dozen snapshots, and among them, there are at least 3 that I remember. 2 of topless girls sitting in Trump's lap around Epstein's swimming pool, and then one with a stain on the front of Trump's pants with 3 or 4 girls laughing and pointing at it. So I have seen those pictures.
So what's your best guess as to where they are?
Well, my best guess is that Epstein kept them in the safe. A safe was emptied out by the FBI. Where are those pictures?
Where are the Trump with the topless girls? Don't know if they're underage or not. Images.